David Murphy, broadcaster, politician, friend, dad. You go through life and you meet people who are takers, but you also meet people who are givers. And David was a giver.
We've all lost just such a wonderful friend.
Nyholm over the blue line. He's got Hughes. Hughes cuts in front. One-timer scores! Nice goal. Tic-tac, and Everton scores the toe.
He loved broadcasting. He loved hockey.
There are some legendary broadcasters in Kingston. I think of Max Jackson and Jim Gilchrist, and I think David's right there with him. He certainly left his mark.
What I remember most about David Murphy is his enthusiasm. I've never seen a guy who showed up at the rink every week just loving to be there. He loved junior hockey. He loved the OHL. He had broadcast the Cornwall Colts junior A team in his hometown for a few years. And I think getting to the OHL was something he was very pleased about.
Shot, save made, and Hellwig under the net, score! Linus Newman with the extra attacker just joining the play.
An old friend of ours from way back in the day told Dave, and he kind of wore it with like a badge of honor, that he could make an icing sound exciting.
David had so much other stuff going on in his life that he didn't always show up on time. He was sometimes late, but it didn't matter because David had this incredible ability. I've never met anybody like it in my life, where he could look at a roster, look at a lineup for maybe 5 minutes max, and it's memorized. It was absolutely phenomenal.
We were both stats guys, you know. Dave and I, we love the numbers and the background. We both have years and years of OHL media guides in our basement.
Shutron walks in, fakes the shot, back in, scores! Ben Shutron's the hero. The Fronts win for the first time in 3 weeks.
He was somebody that had the talent to go on to the next level. He could have been on an NHL broadcast, but he had so many other things going on in his life.
It was really interesting to see David in his environment, which was Cornwall. He truly did know so many people. He truly did care about his community.
He was definitely Mr. Cornwall.
He was so involved in the community. Did a couple terms on city council. He ran for mayor. He was involved in every charity going. He was on the radio. He was on community television.
Welcome to Cornwall Legends. I'm your host, David Murphy. Welcome to another edition of Sports Energy TV. I'm your host, David Murphy.
Cutting down a tree today, and if you haven't noticed, they sort of fall. There's some tall fellas, so this is going to come in handy. Don't you worry.
He could take nothing and make it funny. Nobody could take a jab or a dig better. He was the perfect target for, you know, those jabs and those sarcastic remarks that you make to your best friends. He thrived on it. He loved it. That's definitely one thing I'll miss.
He had a sense of humor. He'd throw the odd joke or one-liner into the broadcast, and he really was just a breath of fresh air every week he showed up at the rink.
Next goal wins. I'm calling it now. There we go. It's a 2-1 game. Ooh, I'm going on a limb on this one.
The community of Cornwall has lost one of its biggest promoters. We know on this broadcast, every time he was on the air, there was he called it the Cornwall connection. There was always some way he promoted Cornwall in just about every one of our broadcasts.
You know, he loved Cornwall, and Cornwall loved him back.
After David found out he had been diagnosed with lung cancer, he was so positive, not just about his prognosis, but about things he wanted to do in the community. Here was a man who knew he had lung cancer, and the first thing he did was work with community members to start up Team Murphy. And it wasn't about David. It was using the Murphy name to raise money, not for him, but for other people in Cornwall who had been diagnosed with cancer.
He raised a lot of money for other cancer patients, and even in his moment when he was battling the disease and he was quite sick himself, he was thinking about others and trying to raise money for other families.
He was a unique guy. You know, anybody that had any interactions with Dave, you don't forget Dave.
David Murphy was an amazing person.